collectors and Transformer fans. Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible support from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, including the one and only Skint, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Crosshairs, as he appeared in the Transformers The Last Night film. For the package, much like all the Studio Series figures, you do get this really nice art here, with Crosshairs looking really very cool. Of course, you got that stupid opening, but you know, it is what it is. You have the Transformers text, the Generation logo, Transformers The Last Night right up there at the top. Come around to the side, you got an up-close image of him, looking absolutely dapper. Come around to the side, and you got a more pullback image of him, really showing off his actual torso with his jacket, I suppose. When you come around to the back, you can see that he transforms in 26 steps, and of course you got images of him in his robot and his officially licensed vehicle mode. And as with all of them, he is big screen inspired, so of course he does come with his backdrop. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So, without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Crosshairs open up out of its packaging, and obviously in his absolutely gorgeous green and black Corvette form. You know, I constantly talk about how they're really improving figures as they kind of go along, and this is definitely one that I was very curious about how they were going to do, because in the films, he created a bit of a jacket, which had a very fluid kind of look to it. And it's like, how do you take something that has metal and make it wavy like cloth? Obviously, they can do that in CGI because you're able to kind of ignore that stuff. But in terms of a toy, that's not easy to replicate. And they've done it a couple times. For a comparison here, this is the most recent one that I've had in my collection. This is that Last Night Premiere Edition one, which was a great figure. But you can see that there is a big size difference here. Number one, this is a lot larger than the new guy. I mean, just kind of stacking them on top of each other, you can definitely see in both the height and length, all that. But you can also see you have a lighter green color, which looks really good. This is a little bit more neon-ish. I think this is a little bit more accurate, but looks really cool nonetheless. Also, you see a lot of extra small details. Like, for example, this section here has black, whereas this one did not. In the front section, you can see that the little Corvette logo was just molded. That actually has some black paint there, which is nice to see. And then you come around to the back. Both of them actually have the taillights painted, and both of them have that Corvette logo. But you can see that this is a little bit, for me, a little bit darker of a coloring, which I think looks a little bit better. I don't know how they were able to do that, but it definitely does look good. And then you got this little notch right here that kind of breaks up that pattern, whereas this one doesn't. And then you can see that the tires actually, instead of this silver, which I like that silver, but I do really like the darker silver on here. You can see like there's a wash on it, which gives it a very cool look. One thing about this that will be kind of a plague, and you can see like the front section, I forgot to point out that, but that's there as well. One thing that plagues this is that this, for whatever reason, they decided not to glue that down. And that is really quite obnoxious, because this, I guarantee you, and I can't even get it tabbed in there now, I guarantee you will come detached when we're transforming it. I don't know why they didn't glue that down. I'm probably going to myself just to permanently affix it to it, but that's really kind of frustrating. You can see that this spoiler is permanently attached. I don't know why they couldn't have done that with that guy, but all in all the way around, this guy looks really very nice. You do have these little bits right here that kind of break things up, whereas, just keeping this out here, you can see it's kind of there as well, but that is a little bit more noticeable, but at least it kind of seems to go along with the lines of him to a degree. So I'm all right with that. In general, very solid looking vehicle mode. I'm really quite happy with how it turned out, other than this weird spoiler thing here in the back, and why that doesn't like staying on there, I have no idea, but it is what it is. Now, transformation on him is a little bit annoying. I'll be totally honest with you. Parts are going to kind of move around and shift, and it kind of stinks. So first we're going to take these arms, which I think do a pretty good job of actually making it look like they're exhaust pipes. That's kind of cool. So bring those down like that, and then this back section, you're going to, this is part where, yeah, it's already, and it's like, it's not even attached to that. So I'm gonna put that back on, and we're gonna try doing this and leaving that on there. It already fell off once, but there's that. And then come around here to the side, you're going to pull these bits out. Do that on this side as well. Pull that out just like so. And these you're gonna be able to kind of play around with and move those around. Then these little sections here are going to rotate out. Gonna lift up and rotate these out. Get that out like that. And that'll kind of help you to loosen this whole thing up, and you can bring this up. Now, one thing that I'll also mention is this back section is not attached when it's in the package. You have to attach all this. It just attaches via a ball joint, but that's annoying. So bring that up like that. Okay, so we're going to set that there. What else is falling off? Oh, I forgot. On the inside, he does have weapons. The guns store on the inside, which actually is kind of cool. I like how they do that, but you can see you got a little slot thing right here that just allows you to kind of put them there. So go ahead and remove those guns for the time being. Set that there. Bring these out. Bring these out. And get that. There we go. And this whole section here, get that kind of angled down and around. Then you want to take this, get these lowered, and then rotate this around. Like I said, for some reason, they don't like this spoiler staying on. So again, I'm going to try putting that back on. What's that? Already 2 times that that's fallen off. So yeah, like I said, this back section, back section here has to get ball jointed or attached at the ball joint. So you can do that. And then just take that, put that down like that. These arms are going to swivel around just like so. And then this whole back section is going to flop down, but we'll do more of it here in a bit. Take this, collapse this up. That rests right there. Come down here to these legs. Again, kind of get this out of the way. These little bits, just kind of get them out of the way for right now. Separate these legs, and then these are going to bend down at the knee. Rotate this around. Come on. Rotate that. There you go. See, and pieces, like I said, don't like staying completely attached to them. So bring that down just like that. And this tabbed in here, so bring that up. Put that right back in y'all. Come on. There you go. And then again, rotate these. Pull that down. No, keep that around like that. Straighten out these legs where that's locked in. These little bits here, you can put kind of like here off on the side. It really doesn't matter. You can put it all the way in the front, but I kind of like leaving them a little bit more off to the side. And then this section here, you want to get this kind of out of the way, and then come back here to the hip section. Actually, you want to take this, and this is all going to shift forward, creating some clearance down here. And that's kind of where everything is going to kind of fit along this back. I actually had this a little bit backwards, though. So what you want to do is kind of get these out of the way, and this is actually going to, these rotate around, and they say sit on the inside here like that. And then keep all this here. This is going to collapse down. Get that completely compressed. What's going on here? Get that. That's going to go there, and that's going to get out of the way. There we go. Collapse that up just like that, and that'll completely collapse, well, for the most part, there along his back section, just like that. And still don't think that that's, there we go. Now get this. There we go. That's gonna, that you want shifted up here. Come on, what's going on? There you go. Just like that, and then collapse that down. And now you have that kind of along the back as best as you can. Then come around here to these hands. Get these. These are shifting all over the place. Get these hands out. These are going to come out from here. Just like that. And then that one on this side will come out as well. And then basically you're just kind of straightening everything out with them. And like I said, these you can kind of put wherever you want. You can kind of leave them alongside. I like how there's a little hinge there so you can actually flare those out a little bit. And then just kind of straighten them. I don't like how this doesn't lock down. It just kind of sits there like this. But this is like part of, you know, like you got this. And you have his little spoiler section here, which technically goes there. And then that sits right along the backside, just like that. But then when you're done, there you have Crosshairs in his robot mode. And, you know, despite the fact that the transformation, I think, is a little bit cumbersome, both the vehicle mode and the robot mode, I think, look really very good. Granted, though, I do feel like that Premier Edition one does a little bit better of a job, at least when it comes to the little jacket cape thing. These bits here attach to the side sections here, and it kind of gives a wraparound look, which does give a little bit more of that kind of look that he had in terms of having that jacket. This one's not terrible, and you can, if you really wanted to, you can kind of manipulate these out. No, there goes that piece. And bring these out. You can kind of screw around with this a little bit, and you can kind of put these out on the side like that, or there in the back, really kind of whatever you want to do. I kind of like doing it like that. That kind of gives a little bit more of the impression that he's got that little jacket, especially if you take these little bits here and kind of put them off to the side a little bit more. It just kind of closes it up a bit, but you do have a giant back section here. What if I collapse this up? Now that's a little bit better. So you can do something like that if you really wanted to. It kind of makes him look more like he's got a cape. Personal preference, honestly, but he does have a lot of kibble to him, and that's really kind of something that we're not terribly used to lately with a lot of these newer kind of Studio Series figures. What's going on here now? This is definitely a fiddly kind of thing. Because everything does kind of typically clean up pretty decently. And now I just kind of messed up the whole gosh darn thing. So let's see. Get that. That's hinging up here. That sits along the back. And yeah, now I seem to have messed up everything with this. So, I mean, it's a matter of personal preference, honestly. Oh, that's supposed to go underneath. Here, hold on. I just, like I said, it's your figure. You can do really whatever you want with him. I just honestly, he definitely is fairly weak in my opinion. And now, like I said, there we go. Now I'm just gonna put it like that. Whatever. The overall look on him is decent. He will replace this guy, mostly because like this whole area up here cleans up very nicely, whereas you have a lot of kibble towards the top section of him. You can see that he does have his weapons. You can get him to dual wield those right there. I feel like this is gonna frustrate me until I get that done up properly. I mean, that's definitely way too big, but that's going to annoy me. I get annoyed easily sometimes with these transformations when they don't do what they're supposed to do. And I know I'm messing all this up myself. So it's like, Paul, you know, it wouldn't be so bad if you wouldn't stop futzing with it. There we go. But there we go. Get that. Get that. So, I mean, I do really like the way that he looks. It's kind of one of those, like, mixed bags for me, honestly, because typically speaking, these new Studio Series figures have been really nailing it and kind of getting them to get knocked out of the park. Get that collapsed in there. I mean, I feel like there should be a tab here, but I don't feel like it's tabbing in all that well. Maybe, you know what? Maybe this is, oh, what the, you know, this is, ultimately, this is just not a fun toy. That's ultimately what it comes down to. I like the way that he looks in terms of the vehicle mode. Robot mode, he looks pretty good. And I know that I'm really ham-handing this guy, and it's probably making it look a lot worse than it actually is. But truthfully, it's just not a fun figure. And I know that that's kind of going to go against what a lot of people are probably going to say, but realistically, he's not. He isn't that fun. He's very fiddly. He's a lot of stuff is hanging off on him, and this bit is kind of dumb. I feel like this is supposed to collapse up though, or maybe just sit there. I don't know. Either way, I'm not a fan of this. Looks good for the most part in his little robot mode here. Vehicle mode wise, looks really good. Absolutely spot on. And I'm just literally just fighting with this guy, and I'm just not enjoying him. I'm really not. So I don't know. I can't be overly excited about a figure that just I feel like I'm fighting with all the time. And this is annoying as well. Ultimately, is he worth picking up? I guess that's very subjective. He will be the one because he is definitely more accurate looking. Just the overall movements of him isn't very fun to kind of do. You got a ball joint here for the head. You have shoulders here that all this stuff kind of gets in the way of the articulation. He rotates at the bicep, bends at the elbow. Wrists move forward and back as part of the transformation. Nothing at the waist. That's all locked into place right there. So there's no rotation there. Hips, I do like these move forward and they move in and out, but these little panels here move around so that you can kind of position those how you want. That's kind of cool. The knees bend. There's ball joints here. The back section doesn't lock down at all. Mediocre figure. And that's unfortunate because I know a lot of people are going to really probably get upset at me for not liking him, and they're going to be like, well, you did all this stuff wrong. Yeah, well, I mean, he's just a mess of a figure. He really kind of is. So, there you go. I'm not even going to bother transforming this guy back just because he frustrates me so much. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. That's it. So there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Deluxe Class Studio Series Crosshairs. Again, I do want to send a huge shout out to the folks over at Hasbro for providing me with this figure to do a review for you, even if I don't really like the figure very much. Again, I think it's absolutely amazing that they still send these to me and give me full ability to be 100% honest in my review. So, kudos to them. And in all fairness, more often than not, they nail it. So this is just one of those rare flops in my opinion. But all that being said, if this is a figure that you would like to add to your collection, he's available right now at various retailers, or as always, you can go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, Entertainment Earth, or even Hasbro Pulse. For all of those places, I'll put links right down there in the video description, where you can swing on over and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. And finally, guys, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, and until next time, this has been Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.